First up, we have Baby Driver. Now this is an original story by Edgar Wright. It takes place in Atlanta, Georgia. Most of it was all filmed in Atlanta, Georgia, and a lot of it was done with practical effects. And when I say practical effects, I mean the car chases that you see are actual car chases that are happening on screen. It's a throwback to me to something similar to like the 1970s or the 80s action films where you'd see like cars like going through cities like Bullet or something like that, where you have like real cars crashing into real things, and it's pretty awesome. The basic synopsis is this kid, Baby, his parents are killed in a car accident. He gets tinnitus, which is a ringing in the ears, and because he doesn't have any parents, he kind of ventures into a road of misfortune. So he's heisting cars and everything like that, and that's how he meets Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey is kind of like the ghost in the machine, if you will. He's kind of running the operations that Baby drives for. He never works with the same crew twice, but Baby is always his driver, which is pretty interesting to me. The film overall is written very well. The characters are all uniquely special, so you don't ever feel like you have the same character in the same scene. You always feel like you have 6 characters in one scene, and I really like that. I like the diversity that the cast gives. I think this might be Jon Hamm's best performance. Jon Hamm was my favorite character in the movie because you actually see a full arc with his personality of going from a guy who's just a bank robber, basically, all the way into this guy who is seeking revenge and is completely just mad and driven by the color red, as is described in the film. Definitely recommend you guys check this film out. It is my favorite film of the year so far. The music in it is fantastic. The movie itself almost feels like a musical, because in a musical, the music actually moves the story along and helps drive the plot. This is the exact same kind of thing, except there's no songs in it that the characters are singing. It's just that the music itself is actually helping to drive the plot forward. So while a song is playing, you will see the characters kind of moving in rhythm to that song. When a song is playing, if it's shots being fired by guns, those shots are being fired in the rhythm of the song. The whole movie is based around the music, which makes it very unique to what's happening in cinema right now as far as what's being played in theaters. I haven't seen a movie like this before that I can recall, and I love the originality of it, so definitely check this movie out. Baby Driver gets all the high fives. Loved it. All right, next up we have Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, Spider-Man Homecoming is the 6th. Oh, 6th. We're going to call it 6th. We're not going to count that weird version in like the 70s or 80s where he's Spider-Man slinging ropes. That's out. We're done. Hands are washed. I got no cards left. We're out of this game. So this is officially the 6th Spider-Man movie. We had 3 with Tobey Maguire, we had 2 with Andrew Garfield, and now we've got 1 with Tom Holland. Now this film takes place in a modern setting. It goes back in time to the Marvel Cinematic Universe right after the events of the first Avengers film, and then it also jumps forward to Civil War and then right after Civil War. So there's a little bit of time hopping, so you do have to pay attention because otherwise you will get lost in the story as to where are we right now in the timeline of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Are we pre? Are we post? What's going on? Just pay attention. The movie does a really good job of guiding you through each segment, and for that, I give it all the kudos. Now, Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture, is played by Michael Keaton. He was my favorite character in this film. He's nuanced, he's layered. I couldn't get enough of this bad guy. Spoiler alert! I am thankful they did not kill him. Let me repeat that. I am thankful they did not kill him. I love this character so much. I am looking forward to any potential for him to return. Now, I don't know. I think Michael Keaton's only contracted for 1 film, so he may not return. Michael Keaton, if you're watching this, please do all the movie-going fans a favor, return as the Vulture. Now, there's a post-credit scene that I'm not going to spoil, but it does play into why I like this character so much and why I enjoyed his villainy so much. He's not a bad guy for being a bad guy. He's a bad guy because that was the only way he saw to provide for his family, which makes his character complex and also a little bit more dangerous because he's doing it for his family. So I really enjoyed Michael Keaton's performance. Tom Holland was great as Spider-Man. Jacob Batalon, I hope I pronounced that last name right, as his best friend Ned was also a surprise to me. I was a little worried from the previews that they were going to kind of be like, ha ha ha, I'm Ned, I'm the joke guy, I'm your comedic relief. They weren't. He is comic relief to a point, but he's also a real, genuine character that you can identify with. If you've ever been a best friend to somebody and you're excited for what's going on in their life, There is a moment in this film, I guarantee you, that you'll look at Ned and be like, I got you. I got you. So definitely watch for Ned's character moments. They're great. He likes to be what he calls the man in the chair, which is the guy behind the scenes, kind of helping the hero out. He's the guy on the computer going, okay, go this way, go that way. He plays that role to perfection. Also, he's got a pretty sweet hat, so pay attention to that. The other main characters in the film all do a great job of making me believe that this really was a high school movie. I enjoyed the homage to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That was great, so watch for that. And if you miss it, the very next scene that happens right after that homage is a scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, referencing what you just saw. So if you miss it, they'll smack you on the head and be like, ah, that's what you just watched. So pay attention, it's a good time. There's a lot of humor in it. I was really happy with Jon Favreau returning as Happy Hogan. Obviously, I love Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark Iron Man, but more importantly, I was impressed with how much Happy Hogan was in this film. Jon Favreau is great in general. He's been one of my favorite actors, writers, and directors since Swingers back in the 90s. Whoop, I'm old. But outside of that, he's still great. Everything he does, I have been enjoying. I just couldn't get enough of Happy Hogan in this movie. I was so glad that he had the role he had. Almost as much time on screen as Robert Downey Jr. Surprised me, happy surprise. I recommend that you guys go out and see Spider-Man Homecoming. Is it a great film? No, it's not a great film. Is it a fun film? Yes. Is it entertaining? Definitely. And that's the type of summer blockbuster you want from a Spider-Man film. You won't walk out of the movie disappointed. You will walk out smiling. You probably will be talking about it and laughing with your friends if you go see it with people. All right, next up we have The Big Sick, which takes place in Chicago, and then eventually it moves to New York. Now, The Big Sick is a romantic comedy that is about the lives of two people, Kumail and Emily. Now, these two, it's a story about how they met, how they fell in love, how they got married, but there are some complications along the way. As the title suggests, The Big Sick, it's not a pun on the word sick. It literally deals with an illness that Emily contracts throughout the course of the film, and the way that Kumail's character has to deal with it, and Emily's family, friends, and then what is it like for Kumail and how he has to deal with his family, who is staunchly religious and is kind of set in an old pattern of thought, an old school thought pattern, where they look at life as, you're this type of person, so you marry this type of person, and this is what our religion says, so this is how our family lives. It felt more like a modern version, a sad, funny version of My Big Fat Greek Wedding. In a sense, when I walked out of the theater, I was like, wow, that was a lot like My Big Fat Greek Wedding. But it had a different element to it, because My Big Fat Greek Wedding is primarily just a romantic comedy, whereas The Big Sick, it takes you up and then it takes you down. It takes you up, lets you ride that high for a while, and then takes you down. There's a lot of sad moments, there's a lot of funny moments. The characters are all great. The characters are genuine. They seem real. What you're watching on screen, it is based on a true story. And fortunately for us, the actors in this film all are able to give it that real, genuine feel to the film. Now on my review, I'll be putting that it is genuine, it's heartfelt, it's touching, it's sad, it's comedic. It is honest. At its core, this is an honest film about what life would be like in that situation. I really was touched by this film. I was really moved. When I walked out of the theater, I was very happy I made the decision to see it. It is available now, wide release. When it came out, it was only in, I believe, LA and New York, possibly Chicago, because like I said, it takes place in Chicago. Most of the film, almost the entirety of the film, takes place in Chicago. So I definitely recommend you get out and see The Big Sick. It's a perfect date movie, but do be prepared, because like I said, it takes you up, it takes you down. It's a sad, funny movie, and I can't recommend it enough. So I'm definitely giving the high fives to The Big Sick.